Miss Coles.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. So you're riding the new bike today.
Oh yeah.
How does it feel?
We're very nice. Feels smooth.
So the cafe we're going to today is in a town called Jenner, and the name of the cafe is called Cafe Aquatica. So the road here to Jenner is pretty narrow. So the ideal time to ride it would be in the morning, in the middle of the week, if possible. But on the weekends, it's okay, especially if you get out early. There is some talk of building a separated bike path here that's been discussed for a few years now, or even longer. And the plan is to go from Forestville, California, on a separated path all the way out to Jenner. And I think that's a good idea, but it's not going to be something that's available for us for quite some time. How's that bike fitting you, Miss Coles?
Oh, it fits ooh, never mind. I was gonna use like a really worn out phrase, but I don't want to.
Okay. Well, pedal like you normally would.
Okay.
Let's see. People think this bike is 3 sizes too big for you. Does it feel 3 sizes too big? Let me get off the side a little. Well, it looks like you got enough tire clearance on the brakes now.
Oh, nice.
Those washers really help.
Yeah, they were like the magic key.
Yeah.
Having the brakes feel this nice all the time, I keep thinking that I'm gonna have to adjust the barrel. My guess is that this is almond milk.
Mm-mm.
Did I guess right? No?
Yeah, this is actually soy.
Ah.
Wrong. See, you're wrong.
There you go. Oh, no.
How does it feel to be wrong?
This is not soy. This is definitely almond. I mean, I can taste the almond. You may have seen the label.
Wrong, sir. Wrong. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
I wonder if it is almond, actually. Wouldn't it be funny if they made a mistake? And here I am.
We were both insisting that we were right.
All right, Miss Coles, now we're going to put you on the spot here. So you've had a chance to ride this bike a few times, and I wanted to see if I could ask you a few questions about it.
Sure. I'd be happy to answer some questions.
It's a little bright right here. It's a little hot. So if you start sweating, it's not because these are hard questions. It's because it's hot. So
Okay.
It's hot, actually. The reflection off the water, too.
It's very hot.
So, okay, well, the first thing I'm going to ask you is the weight. Is there a noticeable difference in the weight between this bike and your previous bike?
There's definitely a noticeable difference.
Okay.
Just even when I pick it up and carry it up some stairs, it's so easy.
Mm-hmm.
And when I just push it along the ground, I don't even have to be riding it up a steep hill. I can notice the difference in the weight just pushing along a flat surface.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of climbing, when I climb up a hill, it climbs very easily. It seems to love climbing steep climbs. So
Okay. Good. Okay, and so that would then bring me to my next question on the climbing front. This is the first time is this the first time you've had a double front chainring? Have you always had a triple?
and this is I think if my memory serves me correctly, this is the first time I've had a double.
Okay. And how has that been, getting used to that? And is there enough climbing gears here for you?
I think that there's enough climbing gears, because even on the steep climbs, because my bike is much lighter than the previous bikes I've ridden, it doesn't seem to hold me back having less gears. So the weight of the bike and the range of the gears balance out really well, and it has been it's going to get some getting used to. It's going to take some getting used to adjust to when and how to shift.
Right, it's a
the
little bit
double?
different than having the middle ring as that in between. Yeah, you just have the big ring and then the small ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once I get used to it, I think it'll be no problem.
Yeah, and now that's what you did here is, in case anyone missed the first part, this is a 4428 on the front and a 1132 9-speed cassette on the rear. So the ratio there is a little less than 1 to 1, so it's a good climbing gear overall. Okay, and then I guess the flat pedals. I know a lot of people, this isn't really related to this particular bike, but I get people asking all the time why you switched to flat pedals and what do you think of them, and so why don't you tell us what you think of flat pedals versus your toe clips?
Yeah, the toe clips I never necessarily thought they were the perfect choice. I just rode them because I had them, and I tend to use things that I have for a long time before trying anything different. So you actually bought the flat pedals to try on your bike, and then once you tried them, you gave them to me, and I've loved them ever since I put them on there. I like how you can move your feet around. It feels better underneath the flat pedal. The platform feels better underneath your feet than my toe clip pedals.
Yeah. And the platform is a little bit longer as well, so you get a little more support on your foot compared to toe clips, I would say. And okay. So you're gonna stick with those for a while?
I am.
Yeah, not gonna go back. The other thing is that starting off, I noticed you'd always drag your toe clip on the ground a few times before you got going.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I don't hit these on the. Yeah, I would often. You must have heard the scrape of the.
Oh yeah.
The toe clip along the rocks or the pavement.
Yeah, and then
Many
if you were to
times.
fall, you really have to practice getting your foot out to be able to fall and actually stop yourself. So this is a lot easier. So probably less injury with these kind of pedals versus being clipped in and restrained to the bike. I mean, I like clipless pedals. I enjoy being restrained to the bike, but I do know that there have been times when I've crashed and I wish I didn't have clipless pedals.
Yeah.
But there's the trade-off, that's the trade-off. Because I like to have the foot retention on the pedal, and I can just mindlessly pedal, and I know my foot is always in the same spot, and I've got a little bit of float on the cleat, and so I like that feeling when I'm riding, but I hate when I'm about to crash and I have to try to get my foot out. That's when I hate clipless pedals. So it's just a trade-off, and I also like the shoes, the cycling shoes. For me, I feel comfortable with that full foot support, and you ride in really low foot support shoes. What do you have to say about that, Miss Scholes?
That's another. Well, sometimes. The choices that I make are usually driven by not wanting to buy new things. So, the Vans that I wear, they work well enough and they're pretty comfortable. So that wouldn't be an argument for there not being a better shoe out there. There's probably better shoes for me to ride in, but I don't want to keep buying different shoes until I find the right ones.
Yeah.
If what I'm doing is working out okay, then I'll just keep doing it.
Yeah, experimenting can be expensive and not fun, especially when something works, especially saddles. I mean, changing saddles is the worst. because you have to figure out, you can spend days trying to find a good saddle. And you know what? The funny thing about saddles, to kind of go off on a tangent here, some saddles feel great when you first test ride them, but you give it an hour and they suck. If you ride a saddle that's too hard at the beginning and it's not broken in yet, it may not feel like a good saddle, but it may take, a few hundred miles or so to really start to enjoy it. And if you don't ride a lot and you jump on a saddle that's hard, it's going to hurt until you build up, that tolerance in the calluses or whatever it is. You build up those muscles that support you on the saddle. It takes a while. And so you can't blame the saddle then.
Yeah.
It's just you need to ride it more and more frequently. Let's see. What about, I know a lot of people were going to ask about the brakes.
The brakes, yeah.
What are these brakes, and tell us what you think of them.
They're Paul Minimoto V brakes, and they are the strongest brakes that I've ever used. It's even stronger than my mechanical hydraulic disc brakes that I had on my
strong,
previous bike.
like more braking power.
More braking power.
Okay.
Very responsive. We rode down a very steep technical descent the other day, and I never had to put my foot down like I've had to in the past. I felt really confident with the braking power.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've never tried these before, but just testing it out, riding around on the driveway and stuff, I have to say these are the strongest rim brakes I've ever felt. And I've tried caliper rim brakes, I've tried center pull, center mounted center pulls, braze-on mounted center pulls, cantilevers, you name it, long reach, caliper brakes. I've tried a lot of different brakes, and of course disc brakes, but for rim brakes, these, hands down, the strongest rim brakes I've ever felt. In fact, they are almost to the point where you could literally go over the handlebars if you grabbed on too hard. That's how I feel riding it. I was like, whoa, or you're gonna just lose traction and fall straight to the ground. But yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
my good brakes.
Right. Yeah, neither my wrists nor my hands get sore on a long descent like they have in the past with certain rim brakes.
Oh yeah, so there was, I guess maybe one more thing I wanted to ask you about, which is, what do you think of the frame itself? There's a difference between this frame in terms of its steel thickness and the tubing diameters and all that stuff, and the tires. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how the ride feels compared to your other bike?
I thought you would never ask. Well, the previous bike I was riding had much thicker, stiffer tubing, and much larger, wider tires, very supple wide tires. So the combo was a stiff, heavy frame with wide, supple tires. This combo is a light, narrow tubing thickness with frame with narrower tires. So
that's right.
This combo, with the frame and fork being really light and really flexible, feels like it absorbs the shocks on the road much better. Like it feels very comfortable. There was even a point where I was telling you, like, compared to the other stiff bikes I was riding when we were riding on a very rocky trail, and I was telling you, Mr. Wildberry, it feels like I'm riding a suspension bike. That's what the difference felt between the two. That's how it felt. I felt like I was riding suspension, like my bike was absorbing the shocks, and it's quite an amazing feeling.
All right. Well, it's a little later now from when we were filming earlier, and in this part of the video, I wanted to open up a package. I don't normally get to open packages. We don't have a lot of stuff coming here, but this one I think is a package. I actually think I know what's in here, and it came from one of my viewers of this channel. All right. So what we have is, we have some locks. Well, that wasn't what I was expecting to find in here, but somebody sent over some locks. Well, that's really cool. This one for Wildberry, and this one says for Miss Cools. Wow, this is really cool. Let's see who sent this. There's something else in here. And there's a note. This is a TA Polar. That's what I thought was in here, and it is. Okay, so if some of you remember, we posted a video about Miss Cool's bike build, and in the video, I was trying to remove the Specialties TA crank, but it turns out that the threads, the diameter of the threads on the crank Polar are larger than the crank pulling tool that I have. I have the one for Shimano and Sugino, but Specialties TA, unknown to me, has a different size. Here we go. All right. So this tool is designed to allow, yep, here we go. Man, this thing is wrapped really well. Okay, so here's the tool. And what it looks like is actually kind of looks like a dust cap. I know the light is really bad right now, but let's see. It's basically, it looks like a dust cap that's threaded with this extra bolt. And so you thread this into the crank, and then you turn this in, and it extracts the crank off of this taper. So really going to become, this is really going to come in handy. So thank you very much again. Thank you, Tony. Thank you for these locks. I'm going to give this one to Miss Cool's, and we'll be able to, secure our bikes a little bit better the next time we go into a cafe. Anyway, I hope all of you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you soon. Have a nice evening.